So in this video, we are going to talk about the difference between having FSD on a road trip and not having FSD on a road trip. Now, I've been in this 2022 Model Y Performance for about, it's going to be a year here in a couple weeks. And the one thing that I was so looking forward to was the ability to use FSD. But because this has hardware 3, you know, we don't get the full stack for the software like hardware 4. We're not getting those really good little perks like being able to go through school zones and recognizing school zones, or, you know, being able to push through fire station lights, you know. And so we don't have the convenience of hitting just the start button. We actually got to be moving to engage FSD. And while when it was only hardware 3, these were groundbreaking, when we look at now with hardware 4, you know, they say they're going to pull us up and they're going to help us get where we got to go with hardware 3 as far as catching us up with a lighter version. Until that happens, I can't justify paying the same cost for FSD, right? The $100 a month that, you know, hardware 4 is paying, and they're getting the full benefits, and we're getting, you know, 3-year-old technology. So I am running this trip from Fort Lauderdale to Jacksonville and going to run it back. I do not have FSD on the car. I canceled the subscription for now. And throughout this trip, we're going to talk about, you know, is it really necessary to have the driver assistant? It's not full self-driving because you got to pay attention the whole time. But is it necessary to have the driver assistant? Well, I just started the first 25 miles of the trip with just basic cruise control. The only difference was I had my hand on the wheel. Now, another thing I don't understand is we're at this newer charger. They've got 35 chargers open and they're hitting us for 42 cents a kilowatt hour. Normally, when your chargers are empty like this, it's a little cheaper. And I understand where these chargers are at. They're way out west. It's the first cluster of superchargers out on the western side of any of the southeast Florida counties. And we need these out in, you know, West Broward, West Fort Lauderdale. But why are they charging so much money out here? It's empty. All right, stop number 2. We are in Sebastian, Florida. It was a pretty quick stop. We were going to stop in Fort Pierce, but we had plenty of juice left in the tank to keep it going. So we're moving pretty good. You got to love the fact that, you know, Tesla will self-adjust to move you along to different stops as needed, especially if it recognizes you got enough power to keep moving. What a lot of people don't know when they start getting into these EVs, especially with the Teslas, is that, you know, they designed to run that battery down lower on these longer trips so that when you get to the supercharger, you charge up quicker and you keep moving that way, which is cool. The other thing I wanted to mention is, you know, one of the benefits I'm noticing right off the rip with using cruise control versus strictly FSD. FSD on hardware 3, 12.6.4 has a tendency to slow itself down. So if I set the speed at 75 or 78 miles an hour, it has a tendency to slow itself down. You could be the only person on the road, the only car on the road, and all of a sudden you're doing 69 miles an hour when you're set to 78. With the cruise control, holds the speed. Now, granted, it's adaptive cruise control, so if it sees a car, you get cut off in front of you or something like that, you know, it'll slow down. But as soon as you get around it and clear it, well, then, you know, hey, it's going to speed back up and get you there. So I actually get better speed control without FSD. Just regular old free cruise control. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? All right, so I'm stopping the charge at 76%. It told me I was ready to go a little while ago at 68%, but I wanted to put in just a little more just in case on 95 there is an issue, because in Florida with these drivers, you just never know if there's going to be an issue. That total was, we spent $14.76 to go with the $7.17 from earlier. So what is that? About $22 right now. All right, so we're at our third stop now in Daytona. By the way, shout out. If you guys have never seen the Daytona International Speedway, there you go. There's the track. There it is, right off 95. So not hard to get to. I have been in there. I have seen a race. I've actually been on that track. Anyway, we are now at our third stop. This will be the last stop till we get where we're going. You know, talking more about the self-driving and my experience over the last year of using it, like today's traffic coming through here with all the rain, and usually in the rain, it's fine in the city. You don't have a lot of problems. But when you have aggressive drivers, and I mean today, for some reason, everybody's being aggressive. Like the speed limit's 70. I'm locked in at 80. It's holding 80. I love it. People are going around me 90, 95, got to be 100 at some points. Hell, there's a couple of semis in there running back to Canada because they had Ontario plates, running back to Canada. That was cutting people off left and right. Oh my God. Anyway, so I probably would not have enjoyed, I probably would have had more anxiety today with FSD than operating in the, you know, HW3 FSD. I'm just being honest. See, even though I got enough charge right now to get me with 25% to where I'm going, yeah, I gotta wait on somebody. All right, so we're done up here with our business in Jacksonville, some family stuff. I'm about to make this ride back south. It cost us $39 to get up here, and we're gonna see how much it costs going back. The big difference is, I started out this morning with 50% battery. So that was to our benefit, right? Number two, I've also got the liner in up here. You can't see it through here, but I can show you to try to control the heat. You see, I got the liner in covering the glass there from Riva. So that helps keep the cooling costs down in there. But the main thing, listen, I'm cruising at 80 miles an hour. I remember when I first got the car, first got into Teslas, everybody was telling me, well, when you get on the highway, don't do over 70 miles an hour so you can maximize your efficiency. Listen, bruh, I'm trying to get out of Dodge. I'm trying to get where I got to go. Speed limit is 70, which means 80. And let me tell you, in Florida, if you ain't doing 10 over, you're getting ran over, right? They will push your butt to the median and leave you there. So believe it or not, I have never been to Buc-ee's before, and I decided to go ahead and charge here at Buc-ee's because not only do they have 28 Tesla chargers, I got 104 gas pumps, but that ain't even the half of it. The half of it is that freaking place in there, 55,000 square feet of retail, food, peanuts, popcorn, apparel. I mean, I just had the barbecue turkey, sliced turkey sandwich. Phenomenal. So we're charging up here. See, that's me right there. I will have one of those, but not right now. Right now we're sticking with the Model Y. 39 cents a kilowatt to charge up. And I'm only like 3 miles north of where we charge up by the Daytona Speedway. So I decided to stop here so we can check out Buc-ee's, get some food, and I'm going to take it up to 90%, maybe 95% on the charge, because it is cheaper, and that'll get me a little closer to home. So maybe I can knock out one stop by charging just a little bit more. That last stop was $15, so that was $39, $49, $54, and right now it's looking like about $15 on this one. So I'm trying to get under that $80 mark round trip, which right now I'm averaging about 12 cents a kilowatt. No, I'm sorry, 12 cents a mile in cost. But we'll see how it goes. So the question of the day is did I miss FSD yesterday on my trip? And to be honest, absolutely did not. considering the environment we were in, a lot of rain going up, not a lot of traffic coming back, but the fact that the cruise control, right, speed adaptive cruise control, held the speed that I set the entire way. I never had to nudge it, help it, force it to speed back up to where I set it. To me, on a long road trip, is more important than me sitting there with my hands idle on my lap while I still have to pay attention. So the stress level was actually reduced for me. Is FSD a worthwhile thing to have? Yeah, I think so. If you got a hardware 4 car, if you have a hardware 4 car. If you're driving a hardware 3 car, after a year, and I'm a Tesla bull, don't get it twisted. I buy as much Tesla stock as I can whenever I can. For hardware 3, man, FSD is a gimmick. And it's not a gimmick because it's bad. It's a gimmick because we don't get the full stack of it. That's just the way it is. Technology gets old. Speed of technology and software is constantly increasing. What was good last week isn't good this week and will never be good next week. That's the way it is. So in my honest, humble opinion, as a Tesla bull, as an Elon Musk supporter, as a Tesla supporter, FSD on hardware 3, it's straight gimmick. Because it's only good for about 80% of your driving. I used to give it 90%. It's good for about 80% of your driving. That's all it's good for. And you still have to pay attention to every little thing on the road. With all the school zones, all the speed changes, and then having to deal with other people on the road and the car not reacting as quick. And the fact that it can't hold the speed at which you set it at. That's huge on a highway trip. On city driving, hey, it's good. But, if I'm looking this way or if I'm looking that way and I'm in FSD, it's going to start yelling at me because the camera's looking. It's like, hey, man, you ain't paying attention. Then what's the point of FSD if it can't drive? If it can't act independently of me, then are we really full self-driving? No, we're driver assistant. Anyway, my final efficiency numbers, I wound up spending $95 yesterday on the total trip. Yeah, it got a little expensive. But remember, I was doing 80 mile an hour. I was rolling, man. Highways were open, dude. And speed control, cruise control did its job, bro. We were just moving. So final numbers, 650 miles round trip. Took about 10 hours. I went 220 kilowatt hours consumed. And about 336 watt hours per mile. Hey, Grok. So for my efficiency yesterday, I spent $95. I consumed 220 kilowatt hours. We went 650 miles round trip. What was my average cost per kilowatt hour? And what was my average cost per mile on my trip yesterday?
Your average cost was $95 divided by 220 kilowatt hours, which is about 43 cents per kilowatt hour. For the trip, that's $95 for 650 miles, or about 15 cents per mile.
Okay, let me ask you a question. If I were driving a car that got me 25 miles to the gallon, the average price of gas right now in Florida is about $4, $4.10. Which would have been more efficient for the trip?
For 650 miles at 25 miles per gallon, you'd need 26 gallons. At $4.10 per gallon, that's about $106, more than your $95 for the EV trip. So the electric was more efficient.
Right, but we spent about an hour and a half on charging time. So the difference becomes, and this is mindful, this is what I've always said about EVs, we're not there yet. Long distance road trips, I'd rather save the hour and a half and spend the extra $12 on charging, on gasoline, instead of wasting the hour and a half on the time.
Yeah, that charging time can really add up on road trips. Time is money, especially for long hauls. Gas cars still win on pure convenience for now.
For now. Thank you, Grok. So anyway, we're going to wrap this video up. Listen, I'm coming up on a 1-year anniversary of this car in a couple of weeks. And this video was not to knock Tesla. It's not. I still think it's top 3 car I've ever owned. This video was designed just to say, hey, you know what? After a year, I'm man enough to admit that FSD on hardware 3 in the current configuration and the current cost, it's just not worth it. In my opinion, it's not worth it, right? They've already forgot about us anyway. They're moving on. So anyway, we're going to get on down the road. Appreciate y'all hanging in. Hit the buttons down below, subscribe, comment, yada, yada, yada. We'll see you in a couple of days. I'll probably shoot a video today or tomorrow on rideshare driving with my Tesla, because it's still the best car in the city, bar none. If all you do is drive in the city, and bonus, if you can charge at home, woo, you are killing it, baby.